This is Danny Flexon here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by a top trainer, Dominic Ingle. Dom, you were just up on the top table, Bradley Skeete. First big fight under you against Hamza Shiraz, who we can see slightly hulking over you in the background. Well, if we can't pick him all up on the camera, but yeah, you can only see his chest, which probably shows how big he is. But what do you think of this fight, and why will we see a different Bradley Skeete this time around?
I don't think we're going to see a different Bradley Skeete. I mean, he's obviously had a couple of losses on his record, Bradley, but you know, he's still the same fighter. He's a boxer, he's a mover, he's got a good boxing brain. But as with most things, and you've heard Anthony Yard say today, his mind wasn't in it in the last fight. And sometimes, no matter what you do, you think, well, you know, you should be training to have your mind on it. Sometimes things cross your mind in the fight, before the fight, stuff goes off in your life, and it's, you know, the fight's not the most important thing. It happens to a lot of fighters. But he's been rejuvenated in the Ingle gym. Bradley Skeete, he's come in, he's sparred good guys, you know, KELL BROOK, Liam Williams. You know, he's had a whole host of different sparring partners, and he can see himself thinking, yeah, I can mix it with these guys, and if I can mix it with these guys, I can you know, carry on boxing. I can box the likes of Hamza. You know, he's banging everybody out, but let's not forget, as Bradley mentioned, he's not really boxed anybody, and most of the guys he's boxed, I would say all the guys he's boxed have all been stopped. You know what I mean? They've had 2 or 3 stoppages, you know, minimum 1 stoppage on the record. And when you go into a fight as a fighter, unbeaten, knowing that guys, when they have lost, the losses are from stoppages, you know you've got a chance of stopping them. You've got that kind of confidence, and worst ways, you're going to beat him on points. So it kind of builds you in like a false confidence, really. You know, when people are just falling in front of you. I don't think he's ever boxed anybody who's not lost by a stoppage. I don't think he's boxed anybody who's unbeaten, you know, at whatever level. So, you know, he's not really, you know, put himself up against any kind of stiff competition. And even it could even be argued that he's not really putting himself up against any stiff competition with Bradley Skeete. He's been 2 years out, got beaten his last fight before he came to Sheffield and had a win over a journeyman. So he's not really taking a risk there. You know, you can look back and think, well, yeah, maybe he's, you know, Bradley Skeete is not British Commonwealth champion anymore, but he took time out to rejuvenate, and you know, Bradley's confident he can beat Hamza. Hamza's, you know, young, he's fit, he's strong, he's been over to America. I think he struggles to make the weight. He looks very, very tall and thin for the weight, and somewhere down the line that's going to catch him up. But you know, Bradley knows what's in front of him, and you know, they sparred together. Yeah, albeit he was a kid, Hamza. He was a kid, but you get a general feel for it. You know, how you gonna deal with somebody, and you know, they're hoping that Bradley's passed it. We're hoping that he hasn't been with anybody like Bradley with his boxing brain, who can fight and negotiate his way around kids who could try and come and bang you out. And you know, that's why it's an exciting fight. So it depends what Bradley Skeete's got left. You know, in sparring situations, in gym situations, he's there with the best, holding his own and giving good accounts of himself. But fighting's different. So, you know, once under the bright lights, the adrenaline starts to flow, and you get more ambitious, you get more will to win, and the excitement. If he's got a lot of fans, he's sold a lot of tickets. He's not a man who's, you know, who's coming to lay down, because you're not going to sell those tickets. He's done, you know, there's loads of people coming to watch him, and that motivates you to put in a good performance. Same with Hamza. So, you know, we'll see.
We spoke last at the Amir KELL BROOK press conference on Monday. You were whisked away kind of mid-interview, so we can talk a little bit more about that now. What gives you the impression in the gym that KELL BROOK is still the man that he used to be, or at least close to?
Well, you know, he's 35, and the one thing I will always say about KELL, look, we've had a lot of kids come to the gym, Billy Joe Saunders, Liam Williams, Jason Quigley. We've had lots and lots of guys. KELL BROOK was one of the guys who started from the ground up in the Ingle gym from 10 years old, a bit earlier than that. And they know, you know, they've seen it all. The Nelsons, you know, Junior Witter, the guys coming through, and, you know, they've got that kind of mindset, and KELL has got the mindset. The old school mindset where you have to grind it out and train, and he can put himself through training camps. And this is, you know, he's been training. He got beat by Crawford, fair enough. You know, I'll comment on that in the sense, I think a lot of boxers, they have got ability. There's very few boxers who could probably train themselves and get away with it. Floyd Mayweather might be one, the top flight ones. But no matter how good most fighters are, they need somebody to give them direction. You know, where they're going wrong, what they need to do. Somebody who knows them, you know, what they need to do in a fight, how to push yourself in training, when to hold back. I keep saying this, that's the most important thing, how to control the mind how to stop them from going off, off on one, getting the right sparring, having the right temperament, and that's, it's like you're like a parent in a way. You can see you're trying to avoid situations that fighters are going to get themselves into in sparring or in training, what's going to be detrimental to the camp. And I will say most instances when Kell Brook's got beat, it's because he hasn't followed the plan at some point, in training. Obviously Golovkin, we'll give him that loss because Golovkin was a middleweight, but it wasn't beyond Kell Brook to beat Errol Spence. I know why he didn't beat him. He was beating him. I know why he didn't start his camp early enough. It was he was injured from the Golovkin fight. He didn't give himself enough time. He needed a lot more time than he had, even though he had, a lot of notice. Should have started his camp a lot earlier, and that was the deciding factor. In the end, all right, he got his face cracked, but if it had been where he should have been in camp and training, he would never been in the position to get hit. And same with the Crawford fight. He should never have got stopped in 4 rounds against Crawford. You look at the fight that Porter gave Crawford. Look at the fight that Kell gave Porter. And somebody asked me months back, what's going to happen between Porter and in that fight, and I says, Porter could win it. Oh, no chance. He's got no chance of beating him. Got no chance of beating Crawford. But he was giving him a good fight while he was in the fight. Would you agree? Yeah. He gave him a good fight. People thought he were past it, and with Kell, he's got the ability. He's still got the punch power. He's still got the timing. He's still got the dedication and the grind once he's in camp. It's switching on to get him into camp, and he's been training since the summer. Whether we were to believe Khan or not, apparently he's flown out to America to start his camp. Well, at 34 years old, you can't go from a standing start and train for 12 weeks and be in a fight like he's going to have with Kell Brook. Kell Brook's already had months under his belt training. He's already had months doing it. So, that's where he's at. He's got 12 weeks to go, less than 12 weeks to go, and he's in a good place. And look, the last time Khan did 12 rounds was against Samuel Vargas, and he got dropped in that fight. He got dropped with the same shot that Canelo hit him with. It doesn't matter where Khan goes to train, who trains him. Nobody's managed to sort his chin out. He can't sort his chin out. He's just a vulnerable spot for him. And what gets him out of trouble is being, boxing, keeping away from the big shots. So you think about how many trainers he's had over the years. Which one has actually improved him? He's had Freddie Roach. He's had all these trainers, and he's not really improved. He's been the same. So he did all right under Freddie Roach, but eventually got banged out by Danny Garcia. So Kell Brook, going back to it again, Kell Brook has got the bit between his teeth. It's a fight he's always wanted. It's probably a fight that Khan hasn't always wanted, but he's found himself in this position. If he's going to box again, it's the only fight for him. It's the only fight that's going to make him any money.
And just before I let you go, prediction on an upcoming fight, Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams.
It's a tough fight, if Liam gets himself, fit and his mind's focused and he sticks to the boxing and has a good game plan, he'll beat Eubank. Eubank's, he's another one who's had, every Tom, Dick and Harry training him, and he's never really improved. He's just been, he does the same old stuff, and he's coming down to middleweight as well. And it does affect you when you're over the age of 30. It's going to affect him. Whereas Liam really came up from like middleweight, and he's good. He's strong. He's strong at middleweight. So if he gets the game plan right and his focus, gets the right sparring, and has the temperament, he can beat Eubanks, because he's actually a better boxer. Liam, he's a better boxer, and Eubanks has got to try and drag him into a fight to win that fight. But if Liam can replicate what he did against Mark Efron and box and stick to a plan, and also against Atlantis Fox and box, he can beat Chris Eubank.
And just finally, Kid Galahad, what's the latest on his rematch with Kiko Martinez?
Yeah, we're just waiting for that from Eddie now. Eddie's talking to his team and trying to reschedule it for next year. Galahad's in the gym training, and once it comes through, we'll work to a date.
Great stuff, Dominic. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Danny.